Brian Shaffer, a name now synonymous with mystery, was a promising 27-year-old man on the cusp of a bright future. He was a dedicated medical student at Ohio State University, immersed in the demanding world of medicine, pushing himself to excel in his studies. Brian was known not only for his sharp intelligence and unwavering drive, but also for his genuine compassion and empathy towards others, qualities that made him a natural caregiver. He possessed a rare combination of intellectual prowess and heartfelt kindness. Beyond his academic pursuits, he was deeply in love with his girlfriend, Alexis Wagoner, their bond a source of immense joy and comfort in his life. He had meticulously planned to propose to her during their upcoming much-anticipated vacation to Miami, envisioning a future filled with shared dreams and unwavering commitment. Brian's life seemed meticulously mapped out, each step carefully considered, each goal within reach. He envisioned a fulfilling future in medicine, a loving and supportive relationship with Alexis, and the continued strength of his close-knit family ties. His life was a tapestry woven with threads of ambition, love, and loyalty. But just weeks before his disappearance, a devastating tragedy struck, casting a long shadow over his seemingly perfect world. His beloved mother, Renee, succumbed to cancer, leaving a void in his life that seemed impossible to fill. The profound loss hit Brian incredibly hard, shaking him to his core and challenging his optimistic outlook. Despite the immense pain, he bravely pressed on with his demanding studies, demonstrating remarkable resilience and determination, even as he privately grieved the loss of his mother. Friends and colleagues described him as both incredibly ambitious and deeply caring, a rare combination of traits that made him a truly exceptional individual. He was someone who skillfully balanced the weight of his sorrow with a persistent sense of hope and optimism for the future, a testament to his inner strength. Despite the immense pain and grief he was experiencing, Brian was actively making plans for the future, embracing life rather than running from it. The very idea that he would willingly abandon everything he held dear, his studies, his relationship, his family, was utterly unthinkable to those who knew him best. His world was one of structure and order, filled with love, ambition, and a deep sense of responsibility. Yet, beneath the surface of his composed exterior, he was quietly navigating a sea of profound sadness and grief. This complex mix of overwhelming grief intertwined with unwavering hope painted a multifaceted and complex portrait of Brian Shaffer in the spring of 2006, a young man grappling with immense loss while still striving for a brighter tomorrow. He was, in essence, a dedicated medical student, a loving and devoted boyfriend, and a grieving son all at once. No one in Brian's orbit could have possibly predicted that this seemingly bright and promising future would soon be tragically overshadowed by a baffling and enduring mystery. A mystery that would haunt his family and loved ones for years to come, leaving them with unanswered questions and a persistent ache in their hearts. Brian's story, a narrative that began with such immense promise and potential, would ultimately end with a lingering question mark, a symbol of the unresolved mystery that continues to surround his disappearance. March 31, 2006, a date that began like any other for thousands of college students across the country. It was the start of spring break, a night for celebration, a release from the pressures of academic life, and a chance to unwind with friends. The air crackled with anticipation. Brian, eager to join the festivities, went bar hopping with his friend Clint Florence, ready to make the most of the long-awaited break. They were both in good spirits, looking forward to a night of camaraderie and fun. They were later joined by Meredith Reed, completing their trio for the evening's adventures. The group dynamic was easy and comfortable, setting the stage for a memorable night. They started their pub crawl at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular campus bar known for its lively atmosphere and cheap drinks. It was a favorite haunt for students looking to let loose. And from there, they made their way through several other local spots, each offering a different vibe and experience. The night was young, and the possibilities seemed endless. Before heading out for the night, Brian made sure to call Alexis, his girlfriend, wanting to share his excitement and anticipation for the evening ahead. He ended the call by telling her he loved her, a simple expression of affection that would later carry profound weight. It was a sweet and tender moment before a night of revelry. Unbeknownst to anyone, security cameras captured Brian laughing and enjoying the night, a seemingly ordinary scene that would soon become a crucial piece of a perplexing puzzle. There were no signs of distress, no indication that anything was amiss. He appeared to be a carefree college student simply enjoying a night out with friends. As the hours passed and the night deepened, the group made their way back to where they started, returning to the Ugly Tuna after midnight. By this point, the bar was even more crowded than before, packed with students eager to soak up the last moments of the night. In the midst of the throng, at some point amidst the loud music and swirling bodies, Brian became separated from his friends. This wasn't unusual in such a busy bar. It was a common occurrence on a night like this, where losing track of your companions was almost inevitable. So, Clint and Meredith, not overly concerned, assumed they'd easily reconnect with Brian before the bar's closing time. They figured he was just somewhere in the crowd. Around 2 a.m., as the night was winding down, Brian made another attempt to call Alexis, perhaps wanting to share a final goodnight before heading home. But, unfortunately, she missed the call, unaware that it would be the last time he ever tried to reach her. As the bar began to close its doors and the lights flickered on, signaling the end of the night, Clint and Meredith patiently waited outside. They were fully expecting Brian to emerge from the crowded bar, ready to head home after a night of spring break fun. But, to their growing unease, he never did. He simply never appeared. Increasingly concerned, they tried calling his phone, hoping to get a quick answer and resolve their worries. But instead of a ring, the call went straight to voicemail, adding to their mounting anxiety and confusion. With no sign of Brian and no way to reach him, they reluctantly assumed he'd already walked home, perhaps not wanting to wait any longer. So, they left. Little did they know, as they walked away into the night, that Brian hadn't simply gone home, he had vanished without a trace. That night, what began as a routine celebration, a typical spring break outing, turned into the beginning of a baffling mystery that continues to haunt those who knew him. Brian Shaffer was never seen again, his disappearance leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a void that can never be filled. The heart of Brian's disappearance, the key to unlocking this baffling mystery, lies in the security footage from the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Every frame meticulously scrutinized, every shadow analyzed. This digital record became the focal point, the single most important piece of evidence. The bar had one public entrance and exit, a single point of ingress and egress for all patrons that night. This entrance was monitored by a security camera positioned strategically at the top of the escalator, offering a clear view of everyone coming and going. At 1:15 a.m., Brian was clearly seen entering the Ugly Tuna Saloona with his friends, Clint and Meredith. He appeared happy, carefree, with no indication of the events that would soon unfold. As the bar closed and the investigation began, police reviewed every single second of the security footage. Hundreds of patrons, including Clint and Meredith, were seen leaving the bar and heading out into the night. The camera captured the ebb and flow of the crowd as the night drew to a close, but Brian was not among them. Despite the exhaustive search of the footage, Brian simply wasn't there. He entered the bar, that much is certain, but was never recorded leaving through the only public exit. A complete and utter vanishing act. Investigators considered every possibility, no matter how improbable disguise. Could he have altered his appearance to avoid detection? Hiding in a crowd, using the sheer number of people to mask his movements? Slipping past the camera, exploiting a blind spot or a moment of inattention? But after countless hours of review, no trace of him was found anywhere on the footage. There was a service exit, but it led directly into a hazardous construction site, an unlikely route for someone who'd been drinking and was presumably in good spirits. The main camera remained the only logical way out, yet it offered no answers, no clues, and no sign of Brian. It was as if Brian simply vanished into thin air, disappearing inside the crowded bar without a trace. The security footage became the crux of the investigation, a frustrating paradox that only deepened the mystery surrounding his disappearance. How does someone walk into a bar, under the watchful eye of a security camera, and simply never walk out? It's a question that continues to haunt investigators and those who knew Brian. When Brian missed his flight to Miami, panic set in. His family and police called his cell phone repeatedly. Each time, it went straight to voicemail. Then, on April 3rd, something strange happened. Brian's phone rang several times before going back to voicemail. The phone company traced the signal to Hilliard, a suburb 14 miles from Columbus. Search teams scoured the area but found nothing. The phone never rang again. Was it a technical glitch, or did someone turn the phone on? Brian, or someone else? The brief activity offered hope, but no answers. The phone's location only deepened the mystery. It was a fleeting digital trace, gone as quickly as it appeared. Like the security footage, the phone's signal raised more questions than it answered. The case grew colder, but the clues remained haunting. Brian's digital ghost lingered, but his trail went dark. Columbus police launched a massive search, interviewing everyone at the Ugly Tuna that night. Friends, family, and staff all described Brian as stable and happy. A key frustration. Clint Florence, Brian's friend, refused to take a polygraph, fueling suspicion and tension with Brian's family. Police and volunteers scoured the area, buildings, alleys, the nearby river, using dogs and divers. No evidence was found, no clothing, wallet, or signs of struggle. It was as if Brian had vanished into thin air. With no body, witnesses, or physical evidence, the investigation stalled. The case went cold, but was never closed. Thousands of tips poured in over the years, but none led to answers. Detectives chased leads across states and even countries. Theories abounded, but the wall investigators hit proved insurmountable. The mystery only deepened as time passed. Brian's disappearance remained unsolved, haunting all who searched for him. Some believe Brian chose to disappear, overwhelmed by grief and pressure. The theory suggests he used the chaos of the bar to slip away, possibly changing clothes or using the service exit. The brief cell phone activity in Hilliard could fit this narrative, a final check-in before vanishing for good. But those who knew Brian struggled to accept this. He was in love, planning a proposal, and close to his family. He'd invested years in his medical career. There was no evidence of preparations for a new life, no assets liquidated, no secret plans. The theory explains the lack of evidence, but not the man himself. For many, the idea that Brian would abandon everything simply doesn't add up. The voluntary disappearance theory remains possible, but deeply unsatisfying. The real Brian seemed unlikely to walk away. Another theory is that Brian met with foul play inside the bar. Perhaps an altercation escalated, leading to his death and a cover-up. The construction zone behind the service exit could have provided a hiding place for a body. Some speculate Clint's refusal to take a polygraph hints at hidden knowledge. Police say Clint isn't a suspect, but his silence fuels speculation. No evidence of a fight or struggle was ever found. No one reported a disturbance, and searches turned up nothing. For this theory to work, a perfect crime and cover-up would have been needed in a crowded bar. It's a chilling possibility, but remains unproven. The lack of evidence is as confounding as the disappearance itself. Foul play remains a theory, one with more questions than answers. For Brian's family, the pain of his disappearance never faded. His father, Randy, became the face of the search, working tirelessly to find answers. The search took a heavy toll, and in 2008, Randy died in a tragic accident, never knowing what happened to his son. Brian's brother Derek was left to carry the burden alone. Alexis, Brian's girlfriend, eventually moved on, but the loss remained a part of her story. For years, she called Brian's phone, hoping for an answer that never came. The community, both in Columbus and online, kept Brian's memory alive. Forums and social media groups dissected the evidence, searching for closure. Strangers felt a connection to the bright young man who vanished. The search for truth became a collective mission. Brian's case became a symbol of unresolved mystery. The hope for answers endures, even as the years pass. Brian Shaffer's disappearance remains one of America's most baffling mysteries. A man walks into a bar and is never seen again. No evidence, no suspects, no clear motive. The security camera, meant to provide answers, only deepened the enigma. The brief cell phone activity added another layer of intrigue. In a world of constant surveillance, Brian slipped through the cracks. His story resonates because he was relatable. A son, a student, a friend. The grief of his family, especially his late father, gives the case its emotional core. The mystery forces us to confront the unknown, to ask questions that may never be answered. As long as those questions remain, the search for truth continues. Brian Shaffer's story endures, a haunting reminder that some mysteries refuse to be solved.